Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in this beautiful world. It is good to be with you again today. Um, if you have a wandering mind like I do, today's practice is for you. We are going to engage in a practice called Zazen. It's a Buddhist practice. And if you're not familiar with it, it is the counting of breaths from 1 to 10. And by doing that, the thought is that you engage in this repetition and you give the mind something to do so that the body and the nervous system can settle and the mind can actually settle. And I was reminded of this practice, kind of an unlikely connection here, but I'll explain. I watched the movie Naiad recently. It's a documentary about the American swimmer, Diana Naiad. She was a long distance swimmer and back in the 70s. And the movie is about her attempt to swim the 110-mile swim from Cuba to Key West to Florida, and doing that not at age 28 when she tried and failed, but at age 60 after taking 30 years off from swimming and braving all kinds of obstacles. I'm not going to spoil the ending of the film if you want to check it out, but I will tell you that my 12-year-old son and I have not stopped talking about the movie. It really has created a curiosity and a fascination with what it takes to go after what it is that you want. Full stop. The dedication, we've been talking about the sheer determination, the preparation, and of course, the mental strength that it would require or did require for her to even attempt a swim like that at age 60. And in a 2014 TED Talk, she actually shared that one of the things that helped her through these long and very, I would say, arduous swims is anchoring her attention with the song Imagine by John Lennon. She said that when she was in the water doing the training and even attempting the swim, that song went through her mind over and over again. And just through the repetition of that, she discovered that she could sing it 1,000 times in her mind. And it took her 9 hours and 45 minutes. So I thought that was remarkable that she could keep track of that. So through that repetition, she was able to stick with her training and actually described transcendent moments that she said, not as a religious person at all, she couldn't relate to that, but she just said she could relate to this experience of just moving beyond her body and the limitations of her mind. So how about that as an anchor for a wandering mind? That was really impressive to me. So today we are also going to have that experience of anchoring our wandering minds, not through the repetition of singing Imagine, but if you want to do that, you're certainly more than welcome to do it. We are going to try the practice of Zazen today by counting 1 to 10. And in case you haven't done it before, or if you have, you just want a refresher, essentially what you do is you inhale a breath, and then you exhale one full breath, and that's 1. And then you inhale again, and you exhale, and that is 2. So you continue that practice all the way to 10. And once you get to 10, then you start again at 1. And the repetition of the numbers is not something intense in any way. It's just a gentle repetition, kind of like you're listening to the lap of an arm on a wave if you're swimming, or a gentle movement of tires, perhaps on the earth, if you're on a bike. So it's just very gentle, just this repetition. 1, 2, a little bit slower than that. And if you stop counting, which is perfectly fine, it's just immediate feedback that your mind has strayed, has wandered, and gently, without any sort of judgment, just begin your counting again at 1. I just want to say this is not about achieving goals in any way. You don't get a prize for reaching 10. You simply just are noticing what happens with your mind. As you know, I always love to talk about a couple of essentials with meditation. It's okay to have thoughts. Today, we'll notice how often we have thoughts and how those thoughts can pull our attention away from the present moment. Don't try too hard to have a certain experience or to force yourself to count. If it doesn't work for you, and perhaps thinking about the words "Imagine," John Lennon's song, that's great as well. Certainly let go of any expectations that you have to do things right or a certain way, and just have the experience that's unfolding before you. Always be kind to yourself like a good friend would, and stick with the practice today. So we'll be meditating for about 20 minutes and I will track the time. All right, so let's begin. If you haven't already, I invite you to take a gentle, comfortable seat, sitting upright, allowing yourself to be alert but relaxed. And begin to slow down, deepening the breath. Letting your body settle. Perhaps tuning into your feet on the ground or beneath you. The contact points beneath you and the surface beneath you. Perhaps the contact points between your shoulders and the support. And then as you gradually deepen the breath, notice how your energy begins to shift. Settling the nervous system, letting the body know it's okay to relax. It's okay to leave behind what came before this and what's to come. Tuning in to your hands in your lap or at your sides. Expanding the belly. And dropping the shoulders or any residual tension that you might feel. You might release the creases at your eyes, above your forehead. Letting your breath resume to its natural rhythm, its natural depth. There's nowhere to go, nowhere to be. Perhaps acknowledge yourself in this moment for showing up today, for giving yourself this time, and this space. Caring for yourself, your heart, your body. You might tune in to some sounds around you. Perhaps the sound of a bird outdoors, the rain gently falling. Noticing any sounds that are closer to home, perhaps within you, and perhaps in the space around you. Letting go of any need to hold, to clench, to resist. Relaxing any part of the body that feels in resistance, feels tight. You might move into that space with the breath, giving it oxygen. Perhaps with the breath, you can have it shift slightly. Notice if there are any openings. Perhaps moving your attention to another place in the body where you might notice any tension or holding. Shifting the breath to that space, livening it with oxygen, allowing it to breathe. Relaxing more and more into the space beneath you, the surface beneath you, and the space around you. You might tune into the natural rhythm of the breath, noticing the flow of it as it enters and exits the body. Noticing the sensations of the breath. You might experience some coolness on the inhale through the nostrils, perhaps a warmth as you exhale through the nostrils. Perhaps a dryness in the mouth as you inhale through the mouth. Simply notice what is true for you. You might tune into the direction of the breath as it enters the body. Does the breath travel upward through the crown of the head? Does it move down into the belly? Perhaps it changes direction each time. allowing everything to be exactly as it is without judgment. You might even find contentment with the breath. We'll begin our practice now of Zazen. I invite you to begin counting the breaths in and out. 1, in and out. 2, in and out. 3, all the way to 10 at your own pace. And whenever you notice that the mind has drifted off to a thought, or perhaps a physical sensation, a daydream in the middle of your counting, gently and without any judgment, begin counting again at 1. And I'll keep track of the time. It's okay if you have to start over again at 1. There's no need to try really hard. Gentle repetition. Counting from 1 to 10 after each full breath, anchoring your attention in this moment. If your mind wanders, simply begin again. Gently release the counting, letting your awareness expand in all directions. And rest in being in the stillness for another minute or two. As our meditation draws to a close today, I'd like to read a poem by Mary Oliver. It's called Wild Geese. And this poem served as a spark of inspiration for Diana Nyad to get back into the water after 30 years of being away. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about your despair, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clean blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over again, announcing your place in the family of things. My wish for you as our meditation closes is that you find your own inspiration to do what others say can't be done, to hold a vision for the highest and best version of yourself, to let the world offer itself to your imagination, to have the courage to love what you love and to persist. So when you're ready, gradually bring some gentle movement back into the body, tuning into the space around you. Perhaps the sounds once more. Giving your fingers a gentle wiggle, or your toes. Deepening the breath. Perhaps taking a stretch if it feels good to you. Hearing the creaking of your joints. I invite you to bring your palms together for one more moment, bowing your head to yourself, thanking yourself for showing up today. When you're ready, gently blink your eyes open, taking in your surroundings with new appreciation and awareness. Perhaps finding something that you didn't notice before. I want to thank you so much for being with me today. The light in me honors and sees the light in each and every one of you. Namaste. We'll see you next time.